And then along came a perfecter in 2004. Facebook is a perfecter. Why? Because perfecters take existing ideas and perfect them. They don't necessarily have to do anything new or crazy. They just see the shortfalls of good things and they make them better. They have proven or established markets, so by the time that perfecters are working, there's already something that's there. The internet was now widely available by the time Facebook came around. In fact, I created my first profile, Digital Scanso, in music in computers class, right? And they focus on market share. The reason why I put Strive Masiwa there is because Strive Masiwa is one of the best perfecters I know. The idea for EcoCash came from Kenya, where they were already doing mobile money. What did he do? He took it, he came here, he made it his own, and he's perfected it for us. Then soon we heard reports that he's going to be starting an Uber type service. Who created Uber? Some dudes in America. Taking that day, he brought it here, he's made it better for us. He's not necessarily a guy who's coming up with new things, but he just takes things that work and he makes them better for us. You can do that. How many ideas do you see and you say, there's a better way to do that? This is what this trust is going to do for you. This is what this hub is going to do for you. It's going to introduce you to places that you can take ideas that were done by pioneers and perfect them. The last one is pretenders and poachers. People who try to capitalize on a wave of success, showed very little creativity, and they fade out very quickly. These are the guys who, why we have 7,000 brands of my hill, why we have piggies, jiggies, tiggies, biggies, biggies, siggies, and jiggies, you know? And the reason why we have so many fashion labels. How many of you know a rapper who's coming out, who spits hot fire on the MIC? I know a lot. How many of you know people who are trying to start another clothing label? Now let me ask you a question. Which P do you think we have the most in Zimbabwe? Do we have a lot of pioneers? Do we have a lot of perfecters? We've got a lot of pretenders and poachers. It's an open question. Just shout out what you think. How many of you, which P do you think we have the most of? Poachers. Why? Why do we have? Because at the crux of being a good innovator is the willingness to embrace failure, and Zimbabweans are scared to fail. We have very, very little room to fail. And so when we have very little room to fail, we all rush to grab the ideas that work. Mukanda Kumsika is the most mind-boggling thing ever. Everyone has got tomatoes, onion, and muriwo on their table. Everyone has got the same thing. And you're saying, for her, not an opportunity to say, Askana, it was an opportunity to use her education to create a product that helps people. When I first met this lady, she was at a project called for Hivos, where they were trying to give people a grant of $500,000 US to inject into their business so that they can take it to the next level. That is where she is now at. And she started cooking this in her kitchen. Muno Zimbabwe. Not America, not South Africa, not China, here in Zimbabwe. That's where she's at. How many of you think you can come up with a solution for people whose hair is going on? Don't do that because now you're a poacher. Chakayako. But how many of you think you can come up with an idea like that? These guys are my friends, went to school together, and they saw that there was dial-up delivery, but dial-up delivery was falling short. So what they did is they created a reason to deliver food. They created an app, and they spent a lot of time begging and pleading with restaurants, please put your menu on our app, please put your menu on our app. And they managed to get to hustle a little bit. These guys are coming from places where they've got massive resources, right? And they managed to jingle this and jingle that, and God opened this window and that window, and now they employ 4 people. They've got 11 drivers who work part-time on their own basis. They make about $18,000 to $22,000 in sales here in Zimbabwe a month. Here, KFC, no naka, pan, no chicken in, they deliver, they do it. And they started from nothing. All they saw was a hole that was missing, where people wanted to eat and they didn't want to have to go get their own food. And they saw that there were people who were slipping and leaving that opportunity lying to the waste. They took it, perfected it, now it's theirs. It's their business. There are people in this country who are doing things. You should be one of them, not can be, should be one of them. And it doesn't start tomorrow. Your future is not tomorrow. Your future was yesterday. Right? And so the last thing I'm going to do is 3 last slides. The true meaning of being Zimbabwean. Look at this tree. Look at this tree. What is it growing out of? Faith, I believe. Fresh air, luck, who knows? But look at how strong it is. Look at how lush its foliage is. This tree is resilient. To be Zimbabwean doesn't mean to suffer, doesn't mean to not be creative. It means to be resilient, and resilient means that when the system doesn't offer you any help, you make your own plan. When the job opportunities aren't there, you don't sit at home watching Beyonce and Sierra Part 2 to 9. Those are 9-hour movies, guys. You make a plan. When the system does not give you the confidence, it ties in with achieving a mindset for success. The story goes that as an old emperor was realizing that life was about to come to an end, he looked to his son to see if he would be ready to succeed him upon his death. But his son wasn't quite ready yet. He wasn't a reckless person, but he wasn't really a leader that would do great things. And so in fear that the country might decline when his son comes in, he decided before anything, and before I leave this place, I need to ensure that my son is ready to take over. So he sent him on a journey way up into the Himalayas to meet with an old wise man who was renowned for creating fierce warriors and fierce leaders. When he got there, the old man greeted him very, very quietly, very modestly, and he handed this guy a scroll, a huge scroll, and a pen and some ink. And he said, I want you to go into the forest, and I want you to write down everything you see and everything you hear. If the report pleases me, I will send you back with my blessing that you are now ready to lead a great nation like China. Ha! Lazo was like, this is very simple. He went into the forest and started writing everything. Ground, ants, tree, sky, cloud, leaf, what. And he was only there for a month, and he came back with this huge scroll, handed it to the old man with a big smile, and he said, there's your report, go tell my father I'm the deity. The guy opened up the scroll, no longer than 5 seconds, he threw it on a burning fire, and he said, not good enough. It's okay, you can go home, I'll send a message to your father that you are not the guy. This confused him. In fact, it angered him. This guy didn't even take longer than 3 seconds to assess that my work, my hard work, was nonsense. What is he on about? So he got upset. And the old man said, look, there's no need being angry. I asked you to do something, you failed. That's that. Unless you want to go and try again, you're welcome to do so, but as it stands right now, you have failed. So he says, fine, give me another chance. So he gets another scroll, and he goes into the forest. But this time he spends 6 months, but he's not just writing everything willy-nilly. He's writing things a little bit more carefully. Instead of just saying tree, now he's saying an old wizened tree with bark that's starting to crackle from the sea. He's starting to write a little bit more carefully, a beautiful eagle with blue and red plumage on his chest. He's starting to write a little bit more delicately, and he takes this report and he hands it to the old man. The old man looks at it for a minute, and he chucks it on the fire, and like, this is not good enough. Now he's not angry, he's concerned. What is it that I'm doing wrong? I mean, I'm doing what I'm being told. I'm doing what you instructed me to do. I'm not making up my own stories here. I'm doing exactly what you said. What do you mean it's not good enough? What more do you want? And the old man has the same response. I can send you back right now, but my report will be, you're not good enough. But you're welcome to try again. But this is your last chance, because we can't keep doing this forever. So disheartened, the guy picks up the scroll and he goes into the forest. And this time he just sits with a blank face. He can't think about anything that he hasn't already written. He's written everything. And he just can't come to terms with what have I done wrong, what have I left missing. And so he spends an entire year sitting on the scroll doing nothing in panic. And on the last night that he was like, all right, fine, you know what, I failed, I'm going home. He fell asleep and he said, I'm just going to have a nice long sleep and then go prepared to be nothing in the kingdom of the future. And he slept for hours, and then something weird woke him up. A sound he had never heard before. And he opened his eyes to see what it was. And what he saw was a flower opening to the sun, to the rays of the sun. And he heard that, and he saw that, and he wrote that down. He still wasn't confident that was enough, but that's what his report was. When he handed it to the old man, just like any good kung fu movie, the old man was excited. Jumps. Yes! Yes! This is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what we're waiting for. Now you can go and be the king. You are prepared. And this guy's looking at him like, damn, no painter. I've written one sentence. What are you talking about? And the old man said to him, the first 2 reports you sent me, anyone could have written that. Even your chambermaid, who is responsible for cleaning out your room, could have written that message. Any basic soldier with any basic training could have written out this message. But what you have written here shows that you have reached a place where no one can reach unless they are ready for leadership. A place where you hear things differently and see things differently.
How many are feeling a little bit better than they were feeling when they got here? How many are feeling a little bit motivated? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Kuda, thank you. Okay, I'd like to thank you all for coming with us. We have Harare Poly. We have Midland State University. Come on, guys, make some noise. We have Catholic University. We have Pinoy University. We have the University of Zimbabwe. We have the National University of Science and Technology. We have the Malvern Girls. We have the Gezafo High. We have Marlborough High. We have St. Mary's. And all of us, maybe some I didn't mention your names. You are all welcome. Thank you. I would like to call up to the stage our very own teacher, to me, to all of you, I hope, after a presentation from Chisipiti Senior School, the senior mistress, Mrs. Mahachi. She's an inspiration to me in particular because she is so driven to fuel innovation in science and technology. She's driving STEM. She's one woman that I know is driving STEM in high schools, and I would like to take this opportunity to invite her to the stage to talk to you guys about innovations in science and technology. I'm not loud. Good morning, everyone.
I'm not used to using one of these, but I'll try. Yes, I teach at Chisholm Senior School. I've been there for a number of years now. And one of the things I'm very passionate about is, well, I'm a science teacher, so it's science education. And I think through science education is the way Zimbabwe is going to move forward. And let's not just leave it to Zimbabwe. I'll just mention that I'm Kenyan. I think that's the way Africa is going to move forward and create sustainable solutions for its future. Now, the topic I was told that this morning is about reimagining Zimbabwe through STEM, through a STEM lens. I just want us to start by just thinking quietly, or just imagining, let's say 20 years from now. Most of you are at least 10, 15 years and above, so you know about living 15 or 20 years. 20 years from now, what is Zimbabwe going to look like? Is it going to look like this? Okay.
Wow.
This is London, New York, Paris. I don't think so. I don't think Zimbabwe is going to look like this. I don't think anywhere in Harare is going to look like this. Not because we can't, or it's a bad thing, or it's a good thing. It's because it's not where we really want to be. We've got to think for ourselves. What do we need to be? Where do we need to be? What solutions do we need for our communities? And as our first speaker said, we don't want to be poachers and pretenders. We want to look at our community and think, what do we need for Zimbabwe? Where do we need to be? And I think STEM is one of the ways we're going to find our way there. Many of you already gathered here are making progress in that direction. You're finishing university, you're starting, some of you are still in high school. And many of you are already doing STEM subjects. You're doing the sciences, you're doing chemistry, biology, physics, and subjects like that. And I think these subjects are very important in that they prepare us. These subjects are very important in that the STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, having deliberate thought, okay? Looking at evidence, not jumping to conclusions, making consistent judgment rather than having a quick decision, jumping to conclusion. Looking at the evidence, analyzing, okay? Reflecting. Did I fail here? Go back and reflect. There's nothing wrong with failure. It helps you move forward, change your direction if you need to. That is what critical thinking is. And in time, you improve and you look at your communities, look at the position that they are in, and think about how can we improve them? What do we need at this stage? You may be from Mutare, from Gokwe. Do we have running water? Do we have electricity? What does my community need? Think critically about it and think, what do I need? How do I need to position myself so I can make things happen for my community? The next word is problem solvers. Problem solvers are people who deliberate on problems. They think critically. Next, please. They think critically and logically through a problem. They'll first start by defining the problem. They'll analyze it. They'll identify solutions. Select which solution is best, which is the one that's going to work best. Put it into action. And if it fails, go back and reflect. Okay, where did I go wrong? How can I fix it? What am I missing? Okay, so you're going back to that critical thinking and analyzing again. And then re-evaluating your problem and your solution to move forward. And if these things come together well, you may just have that small time, that small moment where you come up with something new. And as Merriam-Webster's definition, innovation is something new, the introduction of something new, the introduction of a new idea, a new device, a new method, even if it's a small change in your methodology, it's something innovative. And that's how innovation is born. So it's not something that may come suddenly or instantly. You've got to go through more critically. What am I doing wrong? What is the problem here? Define your problem. How do I go about my solution? And somewhere along the line, it may be an incremental change that you will make in something that's already been done. Okay? We have the 3 P's. That second P, what was that second P? Anybody? The perfecter. You may be that perfecter. You make that small incremental change in something that's already been done in your communities. And that is what innovation is. And that's where we want to be. And I believe as scientists, as STEM students, how many of you STEM subjects? Oh, science, mathematics, biology, geography, all those subjects which are considered to be STEM subjects, the training that you get from those subjects is what prepares you to be a critical thinker, a problem solver, and I think he'll probably tell you more about coding. It's a computer language, really, that you use to create apps and create your technology, your software. Okay? And in your time, guaranteed, you are going to need to know how to code. You may think, oh, I'm sitting in Zimbabwe, there's no chance I'm going to be coding. You will be coding, and those who are going to be our leaders in innovation are going to be those who know how to code. I'll challenge you now to go home and go onto your computers, whether it's in the library or in the universities, go there and Google coding and start to learn a language, a coding language. There's Python, there's Java, there's quite a few of them. And they are very important, and I guarantee you now, as innovators, the way innovation is going, it's all going to be on that small little device we call a phone, and most of the innovative ideas coming forward are going to be driven through coding. So that is my challenge to you, that you take up and go and learn how to code. Okay. All right, now I'm just going to show you the next slide, is the changes between traditional and the non-traditional careers that have come through over the years. And this is from a gentleman at the Institute of Biomedical Sciences. He's the one who's come up with this chart. And if you look at the top, at high school we've got the maths, biology, chemistry, physics, which in my time, or my father's time possibly, led to simple careers like medicine, pharmacy, agriculture. And then we had the second generation degrees, biostatistics, biochemistry, biophysics. And as you can see, the sciences already were beginning to merge in the second generation degree. And my last slide is from the Chinese premier, and he says, change calls for innovation, and innovation leads progress. We've recently had a change in Zimbabwe, and that change is calling us. It's calling us to stand up, to take a look at where we are, think critically, begin to problem solve for your communities, and come up with some innovative ideas, some sustainable ideas for your future. You're our leaders for tomorrow, so we're looking to you for that. That's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Mahachi. Guys, another round of applause for her, please. And she forgot to tell the high school students here that there's a science fair coming up.
Really, I must tell you. Yes, it's on the 16th of March, and this is your chance to be innovative, okay? And the theme for this year is STEAM, and you're all wondering, what is STEAM? STEAM is STEM with an A in it, and the A stands for art. Again, we're including art because innovation doesn't occur without art. There's an element of creativity, there's an element of beauty in what we do, okay? So we've included art, and so please, if you haven't heard about this fair coming up, we invite as many schools as we can. Sometimes those letters stop at your headmaster, they don't get to your science teachers, and they don't get to you. So I'm telling you, I'll leave my email with her, and so that you guys can contact me if you want to participate in the science fair. So our theme this year is STEAM. So come up with something innovative, something interesting, something that's going to change your communities. Or go and be that one who makes that small change, okay? That incremental difference in already something, that perfecter, and bring it to the fair, and we'll enjoy your innovation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, because of time, we're going to try and not skip tea, but then have a few more minutes into tea time. Dr. Bebe is going to give us a presentation on research, on how we do research. We'll try and make it short so that after that, and we can go for tea. And then after tea, we're going to get into groups, the tertiary students on their own, and the high school students on their own. Yeah, thank you. And then whilst we are putting the presentation up there, I want to encourage you to go on our Facebook page and like us and join us. Brian is the best person to tell you what it's all about.
Well, good day everyone. Our Facebook page is STEM Film Network. We're using the hashtag ScienceFace. Can everyone say hashtag ScienceFace?
Hashtag ScienceFace.
Yes, hashtag ScienceFace. Then for Twitter, so our Twitter handle is at @11trust. Capital letter E, then small caps 11, yes, L-E-V-A-T-E. Trust, capital letter T, R-N-U, and small caps R-N-U-S-T. at 11trust. So once you go live on Twitter, we'll be posting or beaming all your tweets. So you'll be seeing your Twitter account there. So for more followers and all, you may do that as well. We're using the hashtag ScienceFace. Can you say that once again?
Hashtag ScienceFace.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. We're trying to prep you also for the afternoon session because we have so many more people coming to join us. So I'm hoping by then you guys will be hyped up and tweeting away.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Dr. M. Bebe, and I'm going to be talking about how to do research. I'm a biochemist by profession. I did biochemistry for my undergrad, and my PhD was in biochemical related study. So, by the end of this presentation, I hope everyone, including the high schoolers, will know what is research, why do we need to be talking about research in this day and age, and how do we do research in Zimbabwe in 2018 going forward. I'll try and define research as a way of introducing the title. Research is a well-ordered process of trying to discover information or solutions to advance the current knowledge that we have. So far, we know that when you have a headache, what do you do? What do you do when you have a headache? Usually a lot of people will go to the pharmacy and look for aspirin or paracetamol, and they drink the tablet, right? So there could be more that you can do when we have a headache that can be discovered through research. It's a systematic way of looking for information. You don't just look around really haphazardly. You have to define the scope of what you want to look at. Look for information on the internet. Nowadays there's internet. You can look for a plethora of information on the internet. assess the kind of research that you want to do, combine everything that you have found, that you've discovered, and then summarize that review, and then come up with a bold conclusion at the end of your research. So why do we need to do research? Mrs. Mahachi spoke about the careers that we used to have back then. If you ask a science-oriented child what they want to be when they grow up, they'll tell you that they want to be a doctor, they want to be a nurse, they want to be an engineer. Why don't we have a child who grows up and says, I want to be a biochemist, I want to be a biologist, I want to be a chemist, I want to be the next person who's going to discover the cure for cancer, I want to be a researcher, like some of the people that I will talk about as we go down. Our country is not developing now because we are running short of innovative young scientists who are going to find scientific solutions for Zimbabwe in this day and age. Right now, I can tell you about tea. I know there's a lot of ladies who are into health who are drinking green tea. Tea was a plant that was discovered in China, and now we are growing it in Manicaland, and we're drinking it all over worldwide. Because scientists in China discovered the plant, they found out that it's got a lot of chemicals called phenolic compounds, epigallocatechin. It's also a very long, interesting word because they did the research, because the chemists in China dug into the plant and found out something that could help the human race. So we need to do research here in Zimbabwe because there's a lot of plants. Zimbabweans have a lot of ngangas, we have a lot of folk medicine that we're aware of, that we're not delving into. There are a lot of undiscovered plants that can help us to find solutions and cure to Zimbabwe-related diseases. We need to do research so that we can also create. Have you ever wondered where this device came from? There was a time, a day and age where we as the human race relied on oral tradition, oral evidence. Our grandparents would tell us, iwe uri mwana waningi, sekuru wako ndiani, mama wako, takabva ku South Africa, tikazouya kuno kune varungu, zikadai, and we relied on your medulla oblongata to keep all that information. But then we discovered that we forget some of these things. Someone had to be creative. And did a lot of research. Remember, I showed you a sequence of events on what you need to do for you to carry out your research. It defined his or her scope, and he had a methodology. He looked for information to end up coming up with a flash disk. Nowadays, you can carry all that information in a flash without having to worry about forgetting. So research is very important. As Zimbabwean scientists, as researchers here in Zimbabwe, there's still a huge potential for us to create new things that haven't been found. Mrs. Mahachi said we wouldn't want to define our Zimbabwe in 20 what? Later in the future to look like that city that you showed us. We can define our own Zimbabwe where we discover new solutions which are Zimbabwe oriented, which can solve our problems. He spoke about, Kuda spoke about the perfecter, is it Strive Masio? He did some research, he did his literature review, and then he found out that EcoCache can work for us. Look at us now, where would we be without EcoCache in this day and age? You might find yourself being a researcher for fun, because it's something that you love doing. Some kids grow up wanting to visit the moon, some grow up loving the sight of the stars. You can grow up and be a researcher in this area, discover new planets. It's fun being a researcher. As long as you do something that you love, you'll find a lot of opportunities for you to discover new things and solve solutions for the country. Some want to be on the leading edge of discovery. They want to be the ones to be the ones who found out about something. I'll give you a few examples because of our time. We have our very own Professor C.J. Chetanga. He's a biochemist. He and his team discovered two enzymes that are related, that function to repair your DNA. when it gets damaged. You see that structure on your right? That's DNA. The part that is showing some fragmentation from the normal structure is the damage that can happen to your DNA. He and his team, because they were doing something that they loved, found some enzymes within the human body that can repair the DNA when it gets damaged. A novel discovery. Some would want to do research. There has to be scientists to continue interrogating the things that we know and maybe coming up with new solutions. What you have there is a scientist who's taking out the red brain and trying to test what happens to some of the Zimbabwean plant extracts or when they are exposed to the red brain, to the brain cells. What happens when you expose the red brain to Zimbabwean plant extracts? So there's so much that the researcher can do. So for the little ones who are still in high school, there's a lot of opportunities for you. You may not have to be a doctor, you may not have to be an engineer, you may not have to be a pharmacist, but you can be a researcher. There's so much to do here in Zimbabwe. We have another example. Professor Tagiri is a pharmacist. His first degree was pharmacy, and then he discovered there's so much that needs to be done. There's so much research that has to be done in Zimbabwe. There are a lot of plants, there are a lot of people who believe that natural medicines are safe. You'd rather take concoctions from grandma or Uncle Sam or Uncle whosoever, instead of taking too many drugs because you might get sick, you might die. But he discovered that some of these plants that we have, that we eat, that we consume for medicinal properties are toxic. In a single plant you can have 1,000 chemicals within that plant which we do not know, and yet the scientists from wherever, from Europe or wherever, have found just 1 or 2 chemicals within that particular plant, and they prescribe that plant to you. Then he went back and said, I think I need to do more research on these natural plants and come up with certain dosages for people to consume when they are taking natural medicine. He's also working on Nzepete. He discovered that people were drinking Nzepete as a sedative or a drug, and discovered that some people end up dying because of drinking that beverage. And he's also found out that some traditional healers use Nzepete for healing mental health-related illnesses. He is now currently involved in a research which tries to cure Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is that kind of disease where you end up forgetting a lot of things as you grow older. So he's trying to find the cure for Alzheimer's disease. So there's a lot to be done in the field of science with regard to research. One common example is cocaine. Cocaine is a drug that was found in plants. So there's so much yet to be done on Zimbabwean plants. Cocaine is used, well, we know cocaine is mainly known for the wrong reasons, but in medicine they use it for anesthesia. When people are going for operations and other medical related surgeries, cocaine is used for those operations. There's also interesting careers that are well paid. Cell biology, to just study the human cell. In Form 3 we were told that the human cell is just a circle and then a dot, a big dot in the middle, and then some dots with the nucleus and the cytoplasm. There's so much information going on within a human cell. By studying the cell biology, you can discover the new trends for curing cancer. We all know that the cells that make up the eye are very delicate. Once your eye is damaged, you can't repair it. But thanks to same technology, you can then try and replace some of those damaged cells. And some are working on the cure for cancer and injuries to the bone. So there's so much research going on in that area as well. So how do we do research? Yes, amongst us, we may have one person in this whole building who may have a flash of brilliance, something that has never been done. Who does spoke about perfecters, and he spoke about poachers as well. So you find a lot of us being poachers and some of us being perfecters, but the first P, there are very few. You may have a flash, it could be you, it could be anyone in this room, but then this rarely happens, if at all. But even if it doesn't happen, even if it does, you may not be able to find an advisor who agrees with you. So it goes back to what the previous speakers were talking about. You have to do it yourself. You have to be strong enough to push for your own ambition, for your own goals. So when an idea comes to you, go for it. There's a lot of money that is hanging on the internet. There are a lot of companies, a lot of organizations in the UK, in the first world countries, who are willing to donate to scientists like you, innovative scientists like you, so that research in Zimbabwe, research in Southern Africa, research in developing countries can go forward. When we are doing your research, you need to consider potential problems, consider hot topics very carefully, and thoroughly understand what you want to work on. And you have to break your problem into manageable pieces. Sometimes you have a lot of ideas in your mind and you don't really know what it is that you want. You may need to break it into manageable pieces so that you can write a proposal and get very huge grants from whoever might want to fund you. I'm trying to race against time. In doing your research, before you start working on your work, there might be need to go through academic reviews. There's so much misconception that we have in this day and age that once you read it on Google, it's true. As long as it's on the internet, it's true, right? There have always been rumors that every February or January, February, the president dies, the former president dies. Because you read it in a newspaper or because you read it on the internet, does it mean it's true? No, it doesn't happen that way, even in research. In research, you have to go through academic reviewed papers. You have to go through a search engine called Google Scholar. There are many other search engines like Unari, Agora, if you're an agriculture-oriented scientist, among many others. Ways to identify a research area, like what we are doing now. This might be relevant to the high scholars and some other young scientists who are amongst us. You may have to take courses if you're not familiar with that field of study. You may first have to take courses, attend seminars like this one, and get to know more about that area. Talk to professors, visitors, and other students, and consider both applied and theoretical areas. Read widely. Reading cannot be underestimated, or I cannot underemphasize reading. You need to read and read a lot. If you are into plant biochemistry or plant research or herbal medicine, if you want to work on a certain plant, if your grandmother told you that and you grow up wanting to be a scientist, you want to find the cure for any form of headache, or it can be migraine, it can be anything. You have to go through botanical confirmation. There's a place called Botanical Gardens here in Harare. You have to work with those people who have to confirm that plant first before you start working on it. Otherwise, you tell people the wrong information. You may look for a wrong plant and do all the research and find something interesting, and then people end up using the wrong plant that might be poison and they die. Then one last important fact that you need to do when you were trying to identify a research area, learn about yourself, identify what you like. I have a little brother who loves video games. He was telling me the other day that when I grow up, he's 11 years old. When I grow up, I want to be a developer for video games. So if he's into video games, if he loves video games so much, I'm sure there is more than 50% chance that he might be a successful researcher in that area. He might come up with new innovations within that area. So find your passion first before you identify a research area. I know from the adults, there are quite a number of us here in this room who wake up every Monday or Wednesday or even Friday not wanting to go to work, bored because chose the wrong career. And that's a big hindrance when you do not know yourself and you get into researching on things that you don't enjoy. There's no room for innovation, there's no room for you to even be promoted wherever you might be working. Redo, when you're still trying to look for something, you have to redo and reinvent, go through some of the things that have been done. You might bump into a problem which may need to be solved. Just skipping most of my slides because our time is behind us. And once you identify what you really need to do, you may need to do it right the first time. There's a tendency amongst chemical scientists, those who work with chemicals a lot, who tend to just run a startup asset just to see how things go. If you have your own laboratory, like Huda was talking about, entrepreneurs, his friends were entrepreneurs, all resources are very delicate, they are very important. You are the one who's buying all those things, you are the one who's responsible for paying whoever is working for you, who's washing your test tubes and so forth. If you are to do an experiment, you have to do it right the first time, so that you don't waste resources and there's more room for you to have more chances of trying out new things. Repeat experiments several times if need be. Sometimes you might get false positive results. Those things happen. You might find the cure for AIDS on the first experiment. You do it the second time, it doesn't work out. You have to do it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times so that someone who is in Ukraine can repeat the same experiment that you did with the same product that you were working on and get the same result. So that's why it's very important for you to repeat your experiment before you go to the newspapers and telling everyone, Eureka, we found the cure for cancer. Engage presentations of your work that will enable you to be criticized in research or in any business. Be willing to be criticized. Your work may not be perfect when it starts. I learned from Mark Zuckerberg at the time when he told me, when he was narrating how he invented this Facebook that was so fond of in this generation. He said he didn't know everything, but he had an idea, so he just started. So if you want to get into some form of research and you've got the resources, just start and present. People will criticize you. You go back to the lab, you do another research, bring it back to the scientists, global scientists, they criticize you. You go back until you find that innovation that you may have been looking for. When you're done, consider patenting. There's a lot of money in patenting. Do you know Coca-Cola? The only people who know Coca-Cola, the formula for making Coca-Cola, I think are the people who are responsible for patent is Coca-Cola only. Some of these beverages that you drink that taste like Coca-Cola are not exactly Coca-Cola. The actual formula for making Coca-Cola is hidden somewhere. So when you discover something brand new which no one has ever found, you need to go. Here in Harare, there's a place called Aripo, which is responsible for intellectual property. You go there to those guys and help you protect your product so that the poachers, the pretenders that he was talking about, won't replicate your product. Only you, if you discover something as a researcher, you'll be the only person who's allowed to produce that product. Imagine if you found the cure for cancer. If you found the cure for cancer today, and you're the only one who's allowed to produce that medicine, imagine the millions that you'll make. So, I'm told my time is up, but that's just a snapshot on how you can do research and why it's important for all of us to engage in research. Thank you very much.
Tea time, so you can just go over there and serve yourselves. Thank you so much.
Methane is colorless and odorless, and it can cause explosion if not properly managed. And then acidic leachate can contaminate groundwater, of which the groundwater is what we need for our springs. Some of our rivers are connected to groundwater, so we would need it to be clean. So I suggested that we use composting to reduce these problems, and at the same time use the products and byproducts of composting to generate electrical energy. So composting is the natural breakdown of organic materials producing a substance called compost, and the rate of composting is dependent on temperature, particle size of the materials and structure of the compost system. And then heat is a byproduct of composting. And this is produced due to bond breakage in the organic materials. So basically, for this heat to be produced, there is need for what is called a carbon-nitrogen ratio. And the ideal carbon to nitrogen ratio is 30:1. Carbon being needed for energy by the microbial stuff in the soil, and nitrogen is needed for protein synthesis. Yes.
Lesia.
Yeah.
I think we finished on this one, 2020.
You're done.
Okay. So, Aisha, I'm sorry. Your name rhymes with mine. Anywho, I wanted to ask something. Yeah. Part of Innovators Hub Club is first is innovation. It's the project. The next thing that I want us to adopt as a group, guys, is leadership and execution of science in a leadership manner. You know, we are young people, we are energetic, and we are going there to lead people. So you should be able to manage your people and stuff like that. So, okay. Right now, your audience has different groups of people. It has Lesia, who's just scientifically innocent. Yeah, I don't even know what nitrogen is. And then it has my friend, who hasn't been screened into a science class. It has him, who's a friend of science, who knows everything that you're talking about. And then it has you, who's a passionist about your project. So, I'm going to take this. Thank you. I've come up with a solution to do this, so that a Form 2 will understand and poor Lesh will understand. So, this is what you love. You don't need a paper to say it. This is what you want to do. You have an idea what it's going to look like. You can tell them, guys, so you see, this is the stone and this is the waste thingy. If we put it together, this is what will happen. So say it. Go for it.
So I should start from the beginning.
No, just go for it.
Go straight to
In
the
layman's
point.
language.
Okay.
Be happy
so-
about it.
My
You know, it's your project.
So, I suggested that I am going to make a compost system whereby heat is going to be produced, and I'm going to use that heat to generate electricity. So, using heat, I am still working on developing, like, you know how a thermocouple, like
Okay.
a thermocouple works, where there's one end of the thermocouple is heated, the other has a different temperature, a potential difference is generated. I am going to need to create my own thermocouple.
Nice. Okay.
And another way of generating electricity that I have suggested is take the carbon dioxide that's being produced during the composting system, and then I put it under pressure and use gas turbines. And that gas is going to drive the turbine, and the turbines will in turn generate electricity.
Okay. So we're making electricity, guys. We're making electricity. Are you sure we'll be traveling to your places?
The problem with using carbon dioxide is that, number one, the process of compressing it or putting it under pressure in general is expensive. So I'm looking towards maybe having, well, actually the first problem is collecting all that gas in the whole compost system. That's the first problem. And then the second one,
I have a question. So how exactly are you going to harvest that carbon dioxide?
that's why I'm still working.
You have to work on that.
Okay,
Because that's
right.
the basis of innovation now. You need to design, maybe, I don't know what we call it, but that thing, or I don't know, if it's a pen that collects carbon dioxide, please make it. Right? That's the basis of innovation.
And you don't have to make it. You have a team that can make it. This is the whole essence of. So guys, please, let it not be me and Trust. I know we talk too much. You are allowed to ask questions. if you want to add, if you're following through and you know, no, instead of using that, why don't you use that? It's helping her project, and it's by the best that she's her project, and now my project, and it's your project. Okay? We are a club now. We are the president.
Carbon
The Trump.
purifier. It's a small device which is attached to, let's say, chimneys, exhaust pipes, or any place that produces carbon dioxide in excess. So this device is put, let's say it's on a chimney right now. When the carbon dioxide is about to be released into the atmosphere, it collects it using lithium hydroxide. Lithium hydroxide, it absorbs carbon dioxide. It is the one which is used by astronauts when they're going into space, so that carbon dioxide won't be in excess in the spaceship. So I'm going to create a membrane of lithium hydroxide so it will attract the carbon dioxide. So after that, the carbon dioxide is turned into a liquid through the dry ice method. And the dry ice is solid carbon dioxide, because when I was researching, I saw that you cannot change carbon dioxide to a liquid straight away. You have to first change it into a solid. So when it's now a solid, it is put in it is sealed in a high pressure container. And when it's pressurized, eventually snaps and turns into a liquid.
Okay.
So when it is turned into a liquid, it is sent down and it is pumped through, because when I was researching, I saw that if you deionize water, it won't contain most electrons. So if you pump in carbon dioxide with all its electrons, it will create like a reaction in the water, because it won't have the electrons. So when it's pumped through, it creates a flow of electrons. And when the electrons start rushing and pulling, it produces a current. And the current then turns into electricity.
Remember, chemistry, acetic acid, the chemical structure is what? CH3COOH, right? So when the OH is removed, we are left with COO negative, right? COO plus, right? Negative, right? So what about the COO?
All we need is just the transfer of the hydrogen ions plus the loss of the oxygen. Yeah, it's just to the container the loss of carbon dioxide. That's all we want. We don't want the other gases. The other gases are not important because it's not a greenhouse gas. Answer.
Okay. Any questions? Or any argument to this? Yes, ma'am. I know.
Okay, I just wanted to inquire with you. Have you tried using the acetic acid to produce it? So, are you very sure that when we have it working in our household, it's going to be
You know, when we tried our project, we tried it like a small scale, just lighting a small bulb.
Well, so did you win? Did you design it?
It was actually, we thought this was like an event or something like a science fair, so we just tried it. But maybe we take some ease. Okay, so you guys just want a project that won.
No.
We
just want an innovative idea.
Okay, Saka, maybe to answer a question, chinozoita kuti ikwanise kupa a large system. Maybe it's increasing the molarity system. So if you use a higher molarity, but still it's the same acetic acid.
So when you designed it, how exactly were you producing that electricity? You're using a bulb or a technique that you made it?
Yeah, we use light emitting.
So you actually have the prototype, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good idea if you brought it. Understand? But maybe next time. Yes. Yes, that's fine. So maybe you can continue from where you left, is it?
I think that's all it was.
Oh. So anyway.
We are still working on the other project.
Right. Well, what's the topic?
We are trying to produce electricity from razor blades and magnets.
Razor blades and magnets. So is it environmentally friendly? Because remember, guys, clean technology. When we are doing this project, remember a phrase, clean technology. We want to come up with projects that produces either less carbon dioxide, right? That causes global warming, right? So the word clean technology or green technology should count, right? So take note of the fact that when you do your project, like you are using razor blades to make electricity.
Like to charge cell phones.
But how? Because we are more focused on the how part. Is Innovators Hub Club. Innovators Hub Club, we want to do it, right? Do the actual practical, design something that is portable, right? You're still designing. Anyway, that's a very good idea. And remember anyway, I will help you on that. You need to design sort of like a poster of your project, right? On your poster, you have introduction, right? On this corner, you have your problem statement, you have your literature review. So on your literature review, you're trying to review what has been done already by other researchers. Because remember, you need to patent your idea. Remember the guy who presented about patenting. Remember, in the morning, you need to patent your new innovation, right? Because the idea is yours. Because you are afraid of poachers, right? So when you design that poster, make sure you embrace literature review. Literature review only reviews what has been done already by some other researchers in line with what you are doing. Also add a specified methodology to that. I will help you on that, don't worry about that. Or add the methodology section where you are going to list the materials that you want, or that the materials that you use, right? And the result section, right? In the reference, they are called what are called references. Whenever you are typing a thesis, right, you need what are called references to show that some of the ideas that you have put in your introduction, they are not yours, right? Because you're using Google or Google Scholar. You remember that Google Scholar to do your research. So now you need to reference it. So it's just a poster that when your code for an exhibition is St. Mary's school to come maybe to attend ZTS, you have your poster, right? And maybe you prototype what you've designed. It's like that when now sponsors are coming in, they're working. That's new people, right? So how did you end up producing this, right? How did you do this? How did you do that? That's the scenario.